who even knows what his own voice is? For it ebbs and flows like spring water, and so easily could be confused for a sparrow, for a dove, in the moments after sunrise. And maybe your voice is mine, or mine yours, and all things of the imagination interchangeable, as Williams told us between patients, their griefs entering his own. For how else be the happy genius of a household? And why want only a singular voice anyway, when there are so many species of thoughts, so many butterflies to follow sunny days? For maybe you haven't heard the news yet, but you don't have to die in your own mind and heart, but have been welcomed into others. Mine, if you need rest. Mine, if this be your last day, as always it is. For we are never midway on life's journey, dear Dante, dear Issa, needing radishes to point the way. This moment too, ebbing and flowing, gathering David's psalm, for God is sheer beauty, all generous in love, and Rilke's ninth elegy, where we're the most fleeting of all, we who begin where we end, one voice into another, way leading on to way. For where else should we go but where we are going? The two of us gathering whoever will go, me reaching your way, you reaching mine. This is called In the Fullness of Time. I have a way of walking out of comfort into crosshairs, don't know, can't say, just let it be and carry on. Yet whoever pulls the trigger must contend with my contentment. Not that I don't rail against my nothingness, but I do it in the deep of night, where none can hear. In daylight, I can't keep a straight face, being that presumptuous. A boy, my job was scooping corn to feed the chickens. Let's say I say a few wise things in 50 years. Behind it all, I'll hear a whirring sound and taste the dusty air. On this battlefield, my allies are Basho and David, Enoch and Thoreau, Stafford, Szymborska, Issa, and more. Even Gimple the Fool shows up, who I knew all along was more than a fiction. Soon enough, the fullness of time will speak my deeds. I hope I'll be remembered for my hands, I hope I'll be remembered for my hands along cornstalks, for how I pulled a sheet to cover nakedness, for one whose mind had lost its way. So my poem in Swing, wrote, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. But I grew up close to Clifton, Tennessee. Savannah, Tennessee is where I'm from, Hardin County. And then, so there are all these writers who are connected in that world, kind of close. Anyway, they come into the poem. A question. It's a question of what I took seriously as possibility, and how then a particular life emerged based upon phenomena encountered, providing a way to imagine my world. A question of accident or of fate, or even of divine providence that placed me in one small town and not another, in one family for a while, then another, then back again, all in early childhood when everything was formative, even standing near a river's quiet flowing. 3 years before my birth, T.S. Scribbling, Pulitzer Prize recipient in the days of Steinbeck, Sinclair, and Buck, was laid to rest in the next town over, Clifton, where he was born in 1881. My grandfather said Tom Striblin was the first grown man he'd ever seen wearing short breeches, which in those days was scandalous. He'd ride a bicycle down Main Street, a dandy, and parents would shield their kids' eyes. A lawyer, he left practice to write adventure stories, then later social satire, taking on issues of class and race. My great uncle lived a few doors down from his house, now turned into a museum, and on visits I'd head off down the sidewalk to imagine a face peering out the second-story window overlooking the river. Sorry. Just about got stung by. Did y'all see that? I was going to try to play it cool, but I think I lost that thread. I hadn't read his words yet. I knew only that he had taken the world as he saw it and transformed it into words. A privacy which I too was beginning to find, if not crave. To the south, in Corinth, Mississippi, 30 miles from where I wandered among 13 oaks and 3 magnolias, and studied the leaves of scuppernong vines, another man, Etheridge Knight, published Poems from Prison, the year I was born. So it seemed I was surrounded by writers. It is hard to make a poem in prison, Knight wrote. Is that what time is? Is that what the mind is? Or words? Or one thought trying to find its way to the next thought? To the mind of someone who might understand or believe? It's a question of which questions we ask, but more so which questions we overlook. It has seemed all these years I've moved among secrets and mysteries, among revelations on the verge of upending everything I know. Many of my people lie in the graveyard where Stribling rests. Knight died my first year of graduate school, succumbing, as my uncle did, to lung cancer. I have no idea if there's an idea binding us all together, but I'm searching. I've studied poems, stories, anaphora, metaphors, hawk feathers, arrowheads, driftwood. I've studied psalms, hymns, gravestones, my great uncle's embrace, my grandmother's hand-stitched quilts. Thousands of times I've said out loud, as if I could step into the cell with him before I was born, as if I and God are the only witnesses to the exact moment Knight scribbles and love. And every time, generation after generation, breath after breath, we hear again the hinge of the universe turning. And this is called prosopagnosia, which is the inability to recognize faces. I know in America, we think ourselves David, holding a stone, ready to leap toward the fight. But what if it turns out instead, we're the giant? Too few people have decided to fail, to step to the side so another can stretch toward the finish line. From the swallows we learn how to swap who will lead. You and I have spent centuries telling our stories, one to another, face to face, in this smallest of rooms. Even Frost, in his sestets, didn't reach clear conclusions. I want the original version, Magritte's still life, or those pair of initials hidden by Leonardo in Mona Lisa's eyes, he thought would never be found. In you, in me, one has to wonder what God has hidden. A weeping for piano notes entwined, or for the moment the goose far behind catches up. And now I'm going to end with the last poem in this book. That which nothing greater can be thought of. Rain ticking through the window screen, sky vast on the other side of the vaster other side. I bow here to imagine myself smaller, no more than a leaf tipped, letting it all slip and be gone. The next reader is Sandra Crouch. Poetry.